Watch us move some heavy weight!
Some dreams, they don't need chasing, they need therapy. He's not chasing dreams, he's running from reality. The reality that he's going to die significantly younger from abusing steroids. Somebody has to say it. Coach Greg, in today's video, we're gonna go over the transformation of Eric English, you know, that sweet kid that was lifting weights with his younger sister and motivating younger people to lift weights and to be fit and healthy. Well, what has come of him?
Watch us move some heavy weight!
Is Eric English natural? Now, I've suggested that most likely he's not natural anymore, but since that time, has he plateaued in his physique? Has he regressed, or has he put on even more muscle? As you look on Eric's Instagram page, you can see he has 1.5 million followers. You can see his caption, his photo. It's perhaps when he was 12 years of age. He looks very young. There has been no update. And so when young people are shown his videos, they're thinking, okay, I want to follow this 12-year-old, this young person. And as it says, he's here to inspire. And so they're following to get inspiration. You know, the young kids. Remember, the majority of people that are going to follow Eric English are teenagers, young, perhaps athletes looking to be young, fit, and healthy. What a great role model. 1.5-year sibling transformation. Incredible. We got some young people doing the fitness thing while being 100% natural. Of course, they're kids. And so I can't wait to see what they grow up to become and continue to inspire. And so let's see what's happened in the hitting 405. I was in my 20s and I ended up with a world record in the bench. And I have amazing genetics. He did it at 15. When I was 15, I was doing in the mid 200s, 405. It's getting a little sus. 3 years later, he's up 150 pounds. Now, I don't know about you, but I didn't even weigh 150 pounds when I was 15, but yet he's put on 150 pounds. Are you starting to get a little suspicious? But no, you know, he's only 15. What 15-year-old would ever use steroids? We have no examples of that. No one ever would use steroids at the tender age of 15. Teen dumbbell bench challenge. And in the video, we're seeing him against a guy who's perhaps, I don't know, 250 to 300 pounds. He's perhaps a foot shorter than him. I don't know. He's maybe even shorter than Coach Greg, but he's big. And by big, I mean he's huge. But he's 19, and I don't believe that he's natural. Does anyone think that if your friends are teenagers and on steroids, that they might get those steroids from them? Because I certainly would hope that no grown-ass adult would be supplying teenagers as young as 15 with steroids. I mean, after all, even steroid dealers, well, they have morals, they have ethics. They're not going to give a 15-year-old steroids, even if they ask, even if they're willing to pay double. It couldn't be that he's getting these steroids from younger athletes who are doing the same thing. I mean, that wouldn't be possible, would it? Let's check out this teen dumbbell bench challenge.
Watch us move some heavy weight! We took out the 150s and I swung them around like my Johnson.
All right, granted, he's very, very strong, 150-pound dumbbells for him. He can do it with no problem, not worried about his form. He's probably not going to tear a pec. I mean, it's nowhere near his 1-rep max. But what about Eric? You know, he's 15, the 150s.
Wait, we took out the 150s and I swung them around like my Johnson.
And so on the first attempt with the 150s, he had to abort. Maybe that's a sign that it's too heavy. Why are we warming up with the 150s? The first video that's being shown is 150-pound dumbbells. Why is he doing a 1-rep max with an exercise he's never done in his life? He's never even tried this before. He's not familiar with it, but yet he's going for a 1-rep max after failing.
Come on! Eric pressed the 150s at 15 years old. Can you do that?
And so he barely gets it up. He's shaking the whole time. He barely has the technique. And remember, this is following an injury that he had several months back. How long do you think he's going to be able to train like this before eventually he gets injured? Now, imagine this had happened. He tears his pec. how would you have felt? He's 15 years old, and I don't believe that he's natural. And so his connective tissues, the ligaments, tendons, and so on, they're more susceptible to injury because when you first use steroids, the muscles become much stronger than the tendons. Muscles grow quicker than the tendon strength, and so you are more prone to injury. And so if you're new to steroids, especially, you're going to get significantly stronger, perhaps even benching 405 pounds at 15. And your chances of getting dramatically injured are high. Are we strong? And the first comment I see is Eric writes, I never do dumbbells. That's why my form is not good. I mean, he's smart enough to recognize that his form is not good, but not smart enough to realize that he shouldn't be using a weight that he cannot control, of which most likely eventually he's going to get injured. Also not smart enough to realize that there are several dangers to using performance-enhancing drugs, and the younger you start, the worse it's going to get. Think of it. You're starting them at 15. By the time he's 20, he's already going to be abusing steroids for 5 years. At 20, why do you think these young men continue to use steroids? Here are the responses. Crazy strong, keep it up. Your form is pretty good. You're just not used to the weight. Are you natty? People are debating back and forth in the comment section saying like, are you dumb? He put 70 pounds on his bench press in 2 weeks. And then other people responding with, well, he's a teenager, newbie gains. He's easily going to be able to do that. It's normal because he's young. Being this strong this quickly at his age, it's not normal. He put on 150 pounds in 3 years. That is not normal. I don't care what age group you go from age 0 to 3, from 10 to 13, 13 to 16, you name an age, gaining 150 pounds, it's not normal. It's normal if it's in your entire lifetime. Born 2010, chase your dreams. I mean, not if your dreams are reckless, if they're going to endanger your health and your life, you don't chase your dreams. What about chasing this dream? When this young gentleman at the age of 12 was going viral with his sister, I most certainly don't think that his dream was to use steroids by the age of 15 and put on 150 pounds. And so what's happening is he's not chasing dreams, he's running from reality. The reality that he's going to die significantly younger from abusing steroids. Somebody has to say it. World record teen shoulder press.
Eric made 405 fly. 5 plates went up, so her panties came down. Eric ate 7 jelly donuts for breakfast. It was too late for him. 760 pounds don't scare me. I got right under it.
He's 15. I don't think that we should be talking about panties coming down to a kid who's 15. We need to be age appropriate. Now, I might sound like the old man. Perhaps I'm beyond unk status at this time. I'm 50 years of age. In the same way that I didn't think that it was appropriate when Larry Wheels spoke to Eric English and asked him if he would do whatever it takes.
Is that something that you're willing to do in the future?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, whatever it takes?
Do whatever it takes.
We shouldn't be encouraging kids to do the things that adults are doing. If you decide as an adult, knowing the dangers of steroids, hey, at least you're an adult. I can still warn you. I can still tell you it was a bad idea. I can still tell you that you're probably going to regret it once you get to perhaps the age of 50, but at least you're an adult. But when a kid does it, it's our responsibility to warn them and tell them to stop.
It was too late for him.
And so he says, it was too late for him. It was too late for him. It's too late for Eric English. I'm sorry. It's too late. He succumbed to the dark side. But what about you? Do you want to be a better example? Or do you want to follow in his footsteps? So if you're watching this video and you're 12, 13, 14 years of age, and trust me, I know that you are. I meet people every single day, and I know that the younger teens are watching me. You need to stop watching these influencers who are abusing steroids and making it seem like it's normal. It is not. Thank God they didn't pull a hamstring, a quad, but what we've seen with guys who use performance-enhancing drugs is they oftentimes get injured. We saw C-Bum. I want to be a dual athlete. He goes for a run, and he's pulling up with a sore hamstring and a sore quad.
Oh, yeah. So I pulled a little bit of my quad there.
And this is C-Bum, guy with gifted genetics, and he's only 30. And so if it happened to C-Bum, what do you think is going to happen to you? It says she's bigger than me. Okay, so let's go there. Do you think that his sister would like to know that he's using performance-enhancing drugs? What would he think if she found out? You know, we're not 100% sure. We don't know for sure. He hasn't posted the blood work. But if his sister was to find out that he was abusing performance-enhancing drugs, would he be proud? And what about this? Eric, if she ends up using steroids because of you, you're her brother. She looks up to you. She gets older, perhaps she's also 15, and she hops on Anavar. What would you say then? Would you have any regrets? What if she starts at 15 and by the time she's 18, she's got a deep voice, she's shaving, and she's losing her hair? What if she becomes infertile because steroids can do this to certain females? Would you then have regrets? And so remember, it's more than just about yourself. It's about yourself and your family. Now, I can say it's about yourself, your family, and your followers, but hey, I don't think you're responsible for all of your followers, but I do think that people care about their friends and family. Do it for your sister. Come off. Stop. You're a young man. If you stop using performance-enhancing drugs, if you are using them, then stop. Does that not make sense? What message would that say? Hey, I was influenced by other people. I'm young. Young people, they make mistakes. Adults make mistakes. We all make mistakes. All of us, we make mistakes. But isn't it a sign that if you learn from those mistakes and change, what would that make you? It would make you a real man. And so if Eric were to stop using performance-enhancing drugs, perhaps even make a message, I did this for whatever months and I stopped. Could talk about it openly. What do you think would happen? All of his fans, thousands, perhaps even millions, would be thinking, you know what? I shouldn't use them either. This guy was looking up to him. He used them and he regrets it and he stopped. Thank goodness he made that video because I'm going to stop as well, or I won't start in the first place. When you decide to do something, think, what is that going to do to other people? What will it do to my friends and family to know that I'm making that decision? We all want the best for him. Of course we do. Especially your friends and family, they all want what's best for you. They want you to be happy. And so you're saying, I've been chasing my goal. And so they have a very hard time coming to you and saying, I know you're chasing your goal and I want you to be happy, but you can't do this. You have to stop. That is hard. Hard for anyone to crush somebody's dreams. But if their dreams are in fact harmful, that is what they need to do. And so just remember, some dreams, they don't need chasing, they need therapy. It doesn't mean you need to do it. Just because you had a dream, just because you feel like you need to do this, it doesn't mean that you do. And here's what many of you don't understand because you're too young. The dreams change. However you feel right now, however much you love something, very easily going to change. It is extremely rare for somebody to have a dream and that dreams last their entire life. More often than not, those dreams are going to last for months or perhaps years. And that's it. And so 5 years from now, what you once thought was the most important thing in your life, an IFBB Pro card. Years later, why did I do that? For women, they're thinking, I now sound like a man. And for men, they're thinking, but now my joints are ruined, my liver, my kidneys, my heart, it's not good. And for others, I don't even need to name their names. They're dead. They're not here. They died chasing their dreams. You might be thinking, yeah, but they went out the way that they wanted. No, they didn't want to die. They wanted to achieve their dream, and the dying was a consequence of a dream that shouldn't have been led to fruition. They shouldn't have went for it. You really think people are happy dying doing what they loved? And so your dream to win the Mr. Olympia Championship, and you prep one more time, and you die during prep. You really think if they had a crystal ball and you warned them and said, you know what? If you go for this Mr. Olympia title this year, you're going to die. I've seen it. I see the future. You really think they would do it anyway? Yeah, but I want to go out dying. That is my goal. My goal is to die doing what I love. Or would they say, really? I'm going to die? Yeah, I'm done. I'm going to do it natural. There's nothing wrong with altering the dream. The dream is to be a bodybuilder. Bodybuilders can compete without steroids. The dream is to win the Mr. Olympia. You can win a natural show. You don't need to use steroids. Do you get it? You alter the dream. When I was a kid, my dream was to be a Major League Baseball player. That was my dream, but I didn't have the genetics of Togi. You remember Togi was in the Little League World Series? He had amazing genetics, but wasted it using recreational drugs. And so my dream was to be amazing. I wanted to be good at something. Baseball, it wasn't it. I was but not good enough. And so I tried a different sport. I did triathlons. Loved it. Wanted to go to the Nationals. Wanted to be in the Tour de France. I biked. I rode harder than last time, but my genetics were not good enough. And so I continued to pivot. I got into bodybuilding as well as powerlifting. I wanted to break a world record, and I did. I wanted to be an IFBB pro, and I did. But what about right now? Do you not see me promoting and racing bikes? Isn't that strange? And so where's the goal to be the Mr. Olympia? Where's my goal to lift a world record? Well, I'm not doing those things anymore, and so I pivoted yet again. And so I want to be faster than last time on Zwift. Perhaps in 5 years, I want to be a pickleball national champion. Who knows? Your goals can change over time. And so the problem with the goal of being a bodybuilder is people think you need to use steroids, and you do not. And so you use the steroids at far too young of an age before you even should get into it, and you cannot stop. Other sports, they don't require this. You want to be a baseball player, you want to race in the Tour de France, you want to be a triathlete. You just train, you don't use drugs, and you do the healthy things. And if you change your mind in 10 years and think, I wasn't good enough to do triathlons, you stop doing triathlons, and you do bodybuilding, you do powerlifting. You change later, but what you didn't do was abuse drugs in order to do that. And so when your goals involve doing harm to yourself, please reconsider. If you do get into bodybuilding and powerlifting and you decide to use Turk Builder Max or Turk Platinum, if you ever quit the sport and you don't use the Turk Builder, you're going to have no negative side effects. There's nothing bad that's going to come of you for stopping to use this. There's nothing bad while using these products. All the products at HDLT Supplements are safe. You can use any of the supplements. You can use my cookbook. You can do any of these things, and there's no irreversible damage. But when you're a bodybuilder and you decide to use steroids, that's where I draw the line. Interested in getting your blood work from Algo RX, as well as perhaps you need enclomiphene or testosterone, Cialis, the doctors will go over your blood work and decide exactly what you need. What do you need to be healthy? It's not about giving you a bunch of trend. They don't sell that, obviously. All their products are prescription medications, and so if you're interested, of course, click the link in the description and use code Greg for a discount. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Don't forget, HLT is looking for ambassadors as well as sponsored athletes, and so click the link and apply. If you're interested in coaching by myself and my team, click the link to apply. And if you'd like to sell HLT supplements in your store and or your gym, there's obviously a link. Just keep clicking links until you find what you need. And until next time, I am out.